She smiled at every message he sent, laughed at his jokes. Even when they were thousands of miles apart, Lena and Ryan believed that distance was just a number. But sometimes love is tested in ways we can't see coming. It all began as a simple friendship, a casual conversation online. Two strangers meeting in a chat room, talking about nothing and everything at the same time. Lena was 23, living in a small apartment in Brooklyn. Ryan was 25, working in a bookstore in Chicago. They were ordinary people, living ordinary lives, until a random chat changed everything. At first, it was just fun. Shared jokes, challenges, and games, teasing each other for mistakes. But soon, the conversation stretched longer. Nights turned into mornings. Laughter turned into confessions. Secrets that no one else knew were shared in whispers over video calls. It was a connection neither of them had expected. They talked about childhood memories, dreams they barely dared to speak aloud, fears they had never voiced. They laughed about their mistakes, comforted each other in moments of doubt, and slowly, without noticing, love quietly slipped in. Not the kind of love that shouts or demands attention. No, this was the quiet, patient kind of love, the kind that grows in the spaces between messages and late-night calls. 6 months later, they decided it was time to meet. Anxiety and excitement mingled in equal measure. Flights were booked, plans were made, every day was counted down like a heartbeat. They shared their hopes for the meeting, imagined the first time they would see each other in person, and every night ended with a promise, we'll make it. But life, as it often does, had its own plan. She reached out to friends for advice, hoping for some reassurance, anything to ease the growing fear in her chest. But there were no answers, only uncertainty. Nights became the hardest. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, imagining worst-case scenarios. She couldn't sleep, couldn't eat properly, and every passing hour felt heavier than the last. Meanwhile, Ryan was fighting his own battle. He had fallen seriously ill, but he refused to worry Lena. Every day was a struggle, every breath a reminder of his weakness. He avoided calls, hid his condition behind reassurances, because he loved her too much to cause her fear. Weeks of silence stretched endlessly, messages went unanswered, video calls were missed. And yet, despite the uncertainty and fear, Lena's heart refused to let go. She booked the earliest flight to Chicago, her heart pounding with hope and fear. When she arrived, she found him lying in a hospital bed, weaker than she had imagined. And yet, as she ran into his arms, all the weeks of silence, all the sleepless nights, all the worry, melted away in a single embrace. They realized that love isn't about being together in every moment or never facing hardship. Love is about holding on, even when everything around you feels uncertain. Love is enduring, surviving, and believing even through the silence, even through the illness, even across the miles. Eventually, they stepped out into the world together, stronger than ever. They traveled, laughed, took photos, and planned for a future that had once seemed impossible. Distance no longer mattered. Silence no longer frightened them. Illness had only deepened their bond. For Lena and Ryan, love had become more than connection. It had become resilience. It had become courage. It had become hope. And most of all, it had become unbreakable. So, if you are struggling with distance, illness, or silence, remember this. Love doesn't always come easily. Some love stories are measured not in days or miles, but in patience, endurance, and the courage to keep believing. And the love that survives those tests is worth every tear, every moment of worry, every heartbeat you spend waiting. Distance, illness, silence, tests of the heart. They are not the end, they are proof that love, when it is true, can survive anything. And that is the story of Lena and Ryan. A love that endured, a love that healed, a love that refused to let go. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more stories like this.